This is an emergency press conference. The UAE right here has now banned 20 countries, including Ghana and Nigeria, from traveling, effective immediately on the 30-day visa.
If you're Nigerian and thinking of going to the UAE and applying for a visa, forget it for now. The UAE has basically imposed a visa ban on Nigerians and has rejected any pending application. So if you've applied for a visa, they've said reject and they're not returning your money.
Did y'all know that as of 2 days ago, the UAE has banned 19 African countries from going to Dubai? And they're not saying what the ban is for, like what we do. Like, is it the scamming? Is it because people are overstaying their welcome? And, oh my God, is it the people that's going over there to get peed on? Like, I'm so curious.
Again, as I mentioned, the relevant authorities are in the UAE at the moment with me now, with Mr. President, going through line by line the issues as they conclude. But the agreement has been struck that the visa ban, the total general ban on Nigerian travelers being able to, process visas, that is ceasing immediately.
All right, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today. All right, so I want to talk about this new development regarding the UAE lifting visa ban on Nigerians. It's a new development and a story that broke a few days ago, and everyone carried it. Everyone from Reuters, CNN, BBC, Bloomberg, everyone carried this. So this is a real deal. So I want to cover this and talk about the development and why this is a good thing. But more importantly, I want to focus on what Nigerians should be focused on as it relates to travels to many of these countries. But before we even do that, I want to congratulate Rema for his historic win at the MTV VMA. So Rema secured his first ever award at the MTV VMA, and it's such an accomplishment for Rema. Rema is a pride for Nigeria and the Afrobeats culture. He is such an example of the artist that we would like to see carry our banner, carry the culture of Nigeria, and really popularize it out there. He is an example of the type of character and artist with such great talent. And I'm so proud of him. I want you to take a listen to his acceptance speech, and I'll be right back.
Africa in the house tonight. First of all, I want to give big thanks to God. I want to give big thanks to my fans. Make some noise. I want to give big thanks to my team. Big shout out to Selena. I want to say I love you from the bottom of my heart. This means so much, seeing Afrobeat grow this big and being here on this stage representing Afrobeat tonight. I'm so happy. But one thing I will not forget to do tonight is forget to shout out the people who opened the doors for me. Big shout out to Fela, who started Afrobeat in the first place. You know? To Baba, Don Jazzy, the Bands, the Prince, Runtown, Timaya, Two-Face, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Davido. And I want to give a big shout out to the new generation of Afrobeats. We're here to take it to the rest of the world. And one more time, make some noise for Selena Gomez. But before we walk out of this stage, I feel Selena should say something, you know? I want you to come on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rema, for believing in me, and thank you for choosing me to be a part of such an incredible song that's been able to break records. Thank you to all of you for listening, for streaming. I could not be more honored. And I want to send all my love to Nigeria. Thank you.
So that's an amazing speech. To have Rema remind the world that Fela started Afrobeats is the type of behavior we would like to see with every other artist, you know? And I couldn't be any more proud of this young man. I see great things with Rema. I think Rema is the sky is just the limit for him. The sky is the limit. That song, Calm Down, surpassed 1 billion streams on Spotify. Such a historic record on Spotify. And also congratulations to Selena Gomez, because she brought in an element of a flavor, a different type of style to that music that really got that music charting the way it did. And so to the both of them, kudos to them. Rema is such an amazing person. He really promotes our culture in the way that we wanted to promote it. So congratulations to Rema for such a wonderful, wonderful accomplishment. So let's talk about this UAE thing, because I want to tell you that this is the type of news that we need to highlight. So let me read for you the article about this. As I mentioned, this is carried by every big time publication out there, and we also carried it. So you can find this article on our website, corporatejunky.com. But here what it is. It says UAE lifts visa ban on Nigeria, paving the way for travel and trade. The Emirates airline, a vital link between the UAE and Nigeria, is set to resume immediate flight schedule to Nigeria, marking the end of a visa ban to Nigeria's travelers. This groundbreaking development follows a momentous meeting between the leaders of these two nations, as confirmed by the Nigerian presidency on a brief Monday morning. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a prominent Nigerian political figure and advocate for robust economic ties with the UAE, joined hands with President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan of the United Arab Emirates in a significant encounter in the vibrant city of Abu Dhabi. The primary agenda was to mend fences, lift the visa ban, and link new agreements that would fuel UAE-Nigerian relations and stimulate investment into the largest economy of the African continent. Now, the backdrop of this diplomatic breakthrough was President Tinubu's tireless effort to bridge the divide between Nigeria and the Emirates Airlines. His quest for swift resolution was more than just a mission. For those closely following the story, it is essential to recall that the UAE had halted visa issuance to Nigerians a year prior. Now, this action was a direct response to the suspension of the Emirates Airlines flight to Nigeria, triggered by difficulties repatriating funds from the West African nation. Now, Etihad Airlines had also followed suit, discontinuing flight to Nigeria in the wake of these challenges. You know, this is the great news. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover this story was that when this happened last year, the narrative you got last year was that the reason why Nigerians were banned, which was the only thing you heard, is that Nigerians were banned from Dubai. That's what everyone carried. Not that 20 countries were banned, but the narrative you heard from people was that Nigerians were banned from the UAE, from Dubai, largely because they were committing crimes and they were really doing things that were not that were unbecoming of Nigerians and really breaking the laws over there. And while we didn't get an official reason from the UAE last year, it was not true that all the propaganda you heard, that was not simply true. People just made up stories. And now you heard it here, right? That the reason why they banned these 20 countries, Nigeria included, was a direct response to the suspension of the Emirates airline flight to Nigeria, triggered by the difficulties in repatriating funds from the West African nations. So they were money to the UAE that were tied to these countries. And that was the reason for the ban. But if you looked at any podcast last year, who I would say many of them were very shameful, and this is egg on their face, which is why many of them are not covering this news today. Right? I'm the only one covering this, outside of the channels or the news outlets. But in terms of podcasts, I don't see too many of them covering. None of them I've seen so far cover them. But they were so glad to cover the Nigerians were banned, because these are the ones that like to push out negative things about Nigerians, right? The UAE never gave an official reason. And now that we've gotten the official reason, is due to the fact that monies were tied to these countries that was owed to the UAE. And until they released those funds, they were going to ban this country. So there were 20 of them. There were 20 countries that were banned. Nigerians were not the only one. And these are the countries right here. This is Uganda, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Cameroon, Nigeria, Liberia, Burundi, Republic of Guinea, the Gambia, Togo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Senegal, Benin, Ivory Coast, Congo, Rwanda, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau. These are the countries. There were 20 of them. And everyone carried this. You know, there are people on the internet saying that this is not true. This is all made up. No, it is true. This is not a made up story. As much as many people would like to not believe the current president of Nigeria. Let me say something about the current president of Nigeria for a second, because I have to give him his flower. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I have to give him his flower because he was the one that secured this. And I want to spend the next few minutes really congratulating him on what I've seen so far in his first 100 days. And this is a president that I was critical of based on his past. But what I've seen this man do in his first 100 days in office is, first of all, he goes to India for the G20 summit, secures $14 billion of investment from India to Nigeria. That is a great thing. And then he goes to Abu Dhabi, sits with this leader to lift this ban. This is what you want from a president of any country. And I have to give him his kudos because I am a logical person. I'm not interested in just smearing people down. I'm not interested in cutting people down. I'm interested in uplifting our people no matter who they are. And when you find someone doing something, moving towards a positive direction, you have to give him their kudos. And so kudos to the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the moves that I'm seeing him do out here. Because that is the type of thing you want to see from a president of any country. Now, this is his first 100 days. He's still got a long way to go. And he's still got a lot of work to do. And there are a lot of challenges in that country. But I like the move that I'm seeing with him. I like what he's putting in place. I like the way he's going about things. And I will continue to bring you developments as it relates to his presidency. So kudos to him, and I'm giving him his flowers for that. And we have to do that as a people. You can't just throw the baby in the bathwater away. When you see someone doing something positive, when you see someone helping to mend the image of your country or your people, you got to give them their kudos. And so when I saw all these people last year pushing this negativity, none of them are going back to tell this story because it's a good thing. The lifting of this ban is a good thing for the Nigerian image. Now, let's be factual in this. This is not something that we want to spend all our time being too excited about, because while Dubai is Dubai, they didn't get there all of a sudden. They spent their time building their countries, right? The place was a desert 50 years ago. So I think Nigerians should work on really building the Dubai version in Nigeria, and they will get there. Because the caliber of Nigerians that are coming up today are such stellar quality candidates and quality calibers that I have no doubt that the new Nigerians that are coming up, the ones that are in the Gen Zs, the ones that are pioneering the Afrobeats music genre, the ones that are pioneering the Nollywood movie industry, these caliber of Nigerians are going to change that country. I guarantee you that. And that is the pride and what we will need to celebrate spend our time celebrating, is that rather than go to a different country like Dubai, to lift the ban and get excited, we're not too excited about that. We're more excited about what we're doing in terms of repairing our image. And I know that Nigerians are going to build that country. It's only a matter of time. I have no doubt, because what I'm seeing with Nigerians out here and the quality of Nigerians that are out there building things, it's only a matter of time that that's going to translate into their country. And I think that that's what Nigerians need to spend their time on. So to those who have been hating on Nigerians, especially when this news came out there, now it's egg on your face, because it's a thing. For as far as I know, the other 19 countries are still banned, right? Nigerians off the list. And Nigerians are not the ones you ban. You understand what I mean? Because I will tell you, this hurt more. It hurt the UAE more than it hurt Nigerians. You know, when they suspended that, because it's essentially suspended flights from the UAE, from Dubai to Nigeria and back and forth, they were losing billions of dollars. So let's not get it twisted here. They were losing a lot of money because the Nigerians that went to Dubai are they're not average Nigerians. These are wealthy Nigerians that went there. See, Dubai is not like where you find Nigerians go to the West, you know, like the United States, and average Nigerians go to the United States or go to England or go to Australia. No, Dubai, it's the wealthy Nigerians that went to Dubai, you know, to either, you know, put up a show, put up events, and get married. These are wealthy people that went there. You know, so that didn't hurt Nigeria. It hurt more. It hurt them more because that money was not coming to that country. It didn't hurt Nigeria. That ban did not hurt Nigeria. It didn't hurt Nigerian economy. You know, it hurt them more. And I think when they looked at their income statement, you know, and they looked at the balance sheet, they were like, hold on a second, we need to do something about that, because even the flights back and forth, that's, you know how much billions of dollars they were losing from the ticket sales from those flights. They needed to do something. They were going to lift this up no matter what. But it's great to see that it happened under the watch of the current president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I'm glad to see that, because that's presidential. You know, I think what this does for Nigeria more is the symbolic nature of the image of Nigeria. It helps to really mend the ties, the foreign relation ties. And I think that's what is much more of the value. There's no economic value to it for us, right? It's the image and the foreign relations is what I think this does, and that's a good thing, right? But it's good to see that's happened, because it helps to quiet all the noise, those haters out there who just like to just use, because people were using that. They were even coming to my comment section and putting out and leaving stupid messages like that. Now, these same people egg on their faces, you know, and it's sad that amongst these same people who were pushing out this false narrative about this, and they were gloating about this whole ban when Nigerians were put in this, are Nigerians too. You know, this, and you guys have heard me say many times, you know, channels that are even owned by Nigerians that gloat and love to put out filth about who they are, about their own people. I think those are the most despicable ones. You guys know how I feel about those people. I have no respect for their channel. I have no respect for their podcast. I will never invite any of these people to my podcast. Nor will I even go to their podcast. Because I think it's despicable that black people are the pioneers of their own demise. And these are black people all over the place. It has nothing to do with just the ones over there, or even the ones in this country. Take pride in pulling themselves down. As people from other race learn of the negativity from us because of people from our community spreading cancer out there. And when I mean our community, I'm talking about the black race now. I'm not just talking about Africans. I'm talking about black race, because it happens a lot even in this country, where black people take pride in pulling black people down. And what do you gain from that? What do you gain from being the one to cause the demise? What do you gain from spending most of your time perpetuating the negative narrative about your own people? Because essentially you still got to live in the world, right? You know, so if you're speaking ill about people that look like you, if you're speaking ill about your own people, and you go to a restaurant, you still got to go to a restaurant. You still got to go to the airport. You still got to go to the store. You still got to move around in society. How do you think people are going to treat you when you move around in society? They're not going to treat you well, because guess what? You're pushing out filth about people that look like you out there in the world. They're going to treat you as such because they're getting all that negativity from you. Because most people will not air out things that are going on in their houses. Like what makes the United States and its citizens a special breed of people is because the US has a lockdown on marketing. You know, the United States has a lockdown on marketing. They will never air out to the world The dirty things that go on in this country. They will tell the world about other things that are going on in their country, but they're not going to air out. And that's why they will forever be the most unique and amazing type of people, because they don't air out their own issues. And they have a lot of them. They've got a lot of them. Not unless you really live in those communities where you see those issues, not unless you live in those local areas where you see those issues. If you don't, you never will know about it, because they don't go around branding it. But leave it to silly Nigerians and many African countries and the black community as a whole. They will air out their own dirty laundry. Many people learn about the issues in Nigeria from Nigerians. Many people know of this. The news media, they don't need to have their camera or send their reporters to go to Nigeria and find out what's going on. They just need to tune into a lot of these silly channels out there who all they do is the evil in their country, right? And then they want to go to the airport tomorrow and wonder why the British Airways steward or attendees look at them funny and say, hey, move on, and don't even pay them attention. And they like gripe about it. No, they shouldn't pay you attention, because you are a part of the problem. These are cancer. These are cancer in our community. And I have no respect for them. I know all those channels. I will never have them on my channel. Never will I even go on their platform, because I call them despicable people. It's one thing to be critical. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism, because I think everyone is deserving of that. Every country, every president, every people are deserving of constructive criticism. It is called constructive criticism for a reason. That means, it is not 60% of your feedback. That means it is constructive because most of the time you are giving out positive things about it. You are speaking, you're lifting those, you're speaking positivity, giving out positive perspective about a thing. So when you give a constructive criticism, it weighs more. You're not going to be a manager of first of all, they're not going to keep you there. They're going to fire your butt off. If everything you have to say about your employees is negativity, they're going to kick you out of there. You're not going to be an effective manager. They're going to send you out. When I used to be in corporate and we'll do coaching, one of the strategy that every leader in leadership, they tell you, you got to start with the positive. Do you understand that? You don't go into a coaching, or you don't go into speaking to your employees by starting off with all the negative. You got to start with the positive. You got to say, hey, here, you're an amazing employee. You've done this. You got to go with the positive. And then you lean into whatever feedback. That is the effective way of really providing feedback. And your negative feedback, or whatever opportunity you want to call it, cannot be on an everyday basis. You're not going to have anyone have you at that job. They're going to kick your ass out. You're out of here, because you're doing nothing but bringing the morale of your employees down. And the company, they will kick your butt out. But this is essentially what these people with podcasts do, is negativity. That's all they do. And I have no respect for them. And so when you have great news like this, they don't cover this, because that doesn't fit into their narrative. And those are the shameful ones. And then to the ones that are non-Nigerians too, they're egg on their faces. Which is why my podcast, I am so proud of this podcast. And if you're a Nigerian, you ought to be really sharing my content and really supporting this, because every person, every Nigerian needs a voice, someone who can speak for them. Every Nigerian needs someone who can speak when something good happens to their country or to their people. Because if all you're hearing about your people is negativity, it affects your morale and your ability to really be effective out here. Who wants to hear it? Now, of course, there are things that are critical. I can be critical of Nigerians sometimes, but I don't spend most of my time. My brand is not. My whole podcast and my brand isn't towards beating down my people. Because at the end of the day, I've got children out here. I got to walk around here. So what I look like being negative towards my own kind, what I look like. And then I have to go out there in the world and deal with the world, so the world can see me as what I have put out there. It's the dumbest thing I ever seen. You get what I'm saying? So if you're going to be critical of Nigerians, be critical. But at the same time, make sure that you're not filling your time and your days. And every single time you have to cover something about Nigerians, it's always a negative thing. Do whatever you want on your podcast, but I call you despicable if you are the person that does that. right? Because at the end of the day, now I can understand all these people that are non-Nigerians using that. I don't pay attention to those ones. We're talking about the Nigerian ones. And the same thing with the black community too. So let's get it twisted. It's the same thing with the black community in this country. They spend a lot of time just cutting each other down. This is why the black community as a whole doesn't go anywhere. It's not moving anywhere. It's not moving forward. They spend a lot of time pulling each other down. Speaking ill of each other. And then they worry why white people see them the way they are. Or anybody else see them. Because we get this news from you. We get the thing about you from you. Because there's too many of you beating yourselves down. There's too many of you. White folks ain't doing that. Chinese folks ain't doing that. Indians ain't doing that. Spanish folks ain't doing that. Do you get what I'm saying? It's a cancer with the black community. It's a cancer with the black race. And I think a lot of that stems from the fact that we bought into a lot of the thing that was passed on to us from years down the line. That you start to see yourself. With my children, I'll close real quickly. Because I love myself. I love who I am. I love my family. I love my skin color. I love everything about me, if you haven't noticed already. I love how I look. I love how I talk. I love where I come from. I love the fact that I'm a Nigerian. I love the fact that I'm a black race. I love that. And so I pass on this love of self to my children, to where I tell my kids, black is beautiful. My daughter yesterday was telling me that she told her classmate that black is beautiful. And the classmate was and I asked her, is she a black kid or a white kid or a Hispanic kid? She said she was a black kid. And my daughter said, when she said to her, black is beautiful, the girl looked and said, yes, black is beautiful. Imagine the impact that my daughter had on that girl, who perhaps had never been told that before. Maybe her parents did, I don't know, right? But imagine the impact that my 5-year-old tells to another colleague of hers, another student in her class, and they both agreed that black is beautiful. Imagine the power of that. That the two of them can walk with that notion. Now, if you are the kind of parent that just go around talking bad about your people, you're not going to pass that to your kids. Everything your kids, because children, they listen to more what we do than what we say. You know that. When you're at the dining table or you are at the kitchen cooking and all you do is Nigeria this, Nigeria that, black people this, black people that, and you just cutting your own people that, they look at you and be like, we are black, so we know good. Because they get it from you. So you can't pass what you don't have. So my thing, if I have to leave you with anything, is begin to really praise your people, regardless of what people say. Yes, your people are not perfect. No one is. No one is. But don't join those of other races to cut your people down. Don't give them the ammunition to cut your own people down. Don't do it. For example, I'm not, I've been critical of the president of Nigeria, but you're not going to find me on this platform chopping him down 24/7. You're not going to find me do that. And when he does something that is worth celebrating, I'm going to speak on that much more than you find me chopping him down. That's what you do when you are when you love yourself so much. Okay? And you're trying to make sure that you impact that. I am proud to really impact to my community. Something that no one else is doing out here. So if you're a Nigerian, if you're a black person, whether you are from this country, you're African American, if you're a Ghanaian, if you're a Nigerian, if you're whatever in the black race, can I suggest to you that you try a different strategy, that you speak more positively about yourself and your race, much more than the negativity that you're spewing out there, because they are garbage. See, my parents, my dad told me one long time ago, if you don't have something good to say about someone, don't say it. Keep your mouth shut. And it's been a thing that I've carried along with me. If I don't have something good to say, I'm not going to say it, especially on a public platform. I'm just going to keep on. If you ask me, I was like, no comment. I'm not going to tell you. especially if it has to do with me and my people. No. And when I mean my people, I'm talking about the black race, period. So start today and begin pushing out good narrative about your race. If you're going to be critical, it's okay to be critical. However, don't spend 60, 70% of your platform always pushing out the negativity about your race. And you want to murph it under, oh, we want the world to just see, we want to call them out. That's nonsense. You're not calling anybody out. You're only making yourself look good. Anyhow, thank you all for watching. Please, leave me a comment. Share this video. Share this content. Subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you all next time.
Och det jag lägger av min tid, jag vill ha det. Nu får mig känna safe.